Hi guys,
welcome to the podcast.
Do you want to introduce yourself first?
Yeah, so I'm Sanaa and I'm a health and nutrition coach, and my main role is to help women lose weight, still be able to enjoy the foods they love and still be able to enjoy their culture and be able to still identify with Indian foods, cultural foods and lose weight. How about you, Zaynab?
That's amazing. So similar to you, I'm an online fitness coach. So I specialise in South Asian Muslim women as well, getting them to lose weight in a sustainable manner so that they can keep it off forever, but also incorporate fitness. So whether that's gym workouts or home workouts, I make sure that they've got a plan tailored to them and that they can basically lose the weight that they always wanted to do and keep it off forever.
That's really good. And like our values align so much.
They really
like,
do.
It's and we need more of women's like this that encourage people to
100%.
actually like embrace your culture and enjoy what your traditions are, but still keep in mind like nutrition and health and exercise and all the rest of it.
There's so much misinformation out there and so much stigma in our culture regarding weight loss, looking slim, this, that. You just don't know what to do when you go on Instagram. All you see is cortisol belly, balance hormones, do this, you can't weight train, you can't do this, you have to give up this. Like, it's a minefield out there, and that's what I want to help women. Just give them a plan, they know what to do, and that's all they have to follow. So what kind of brought you into the whole fitness journey thing? Like, where did your fitness journey start?
Okay, so I have been dieting my whole life.
Yeah.
As far as I can remember. I've always was that chubby little girl. And to be fair, like looking back at pictures now, I probably wasn't even that chubby. I was a little bit round around the edges. I lacked a lot of self-confidence. So I was constantly on diet after diet. And these weren't great diets. It was over-restriction. It was taking out the carbs. It was not eating for days. And honestly, I was just stuck in that same cycle.
Yeah.
And then I got married and had kids, and wow, hormones and stress and low energy levels and all the rest of it hit me hard.
Yeah.
And so I got to a point in 2023 where I was probably like the highest weight I have probably ever been. And I was again stuck in that same diet culture. And I was literally sat on the sofa one day after putting the kids to sleep. And I was sat with my chocolates, and I'd had enough. And I just wanted something I wanted to embrace foods that I could actually stay consistent with. Yeah. I still wanted to enjoy my meals, and I just wanted a little bit of understanding on the nutrition side of things. And so I started my page, Confessions of a Dietaholic. And
Love that name.
it was literally a journal for me to rant and basically document everything that I was doing. So I was posting pictures on the foods that I was eating every day. And on this page, it literally had like 10, 15 people. And
yeah, because you used to have it private, right?
Yeah, it was completely private, and it just had my aunties and my close friends. And you know what? It was great because I could just show them the reality of dieting, and kind of they saw my nutrition journey start from the beginning. And so when I started this nutrition journey, I started focusing on whole foods. I started focusing on high volume, low calorie foods. And I started recognizing how to plate up my foods and how to bulk up.
Did you do all this yourself, or did you have a coach? Did you have help?
Yeah.
Or?
So when I was at the lowest point, I Googled a nutritionist, and I found this lovely lady who basically helped me through my initial program.
So you didn't do it by yourself?
I didn't do it by myself at the beginning. She coached me through what kind of foods to introduce, how to cut things out without feeling hungry. Yeah. And for the first part of my nutrition journey, that's who I relied on. But obviously, you get to a point where you think, how much chicken, veg and rice can you have? And
in different ways.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking in the evenings, like, right, how do I dress up this potato? How do I dress up this veg? And it got to a point where I was eating different foods to my kids and to my husband.
The worst, yeah.
Exactly. And they would come home and they'd be like, Mommy, why are you eating this? Or why are you not enjoying foods that we're eating? And it was like taking over my life. And so I wanted to think of ways of how to make foods interesting. And that's where my mind shift changed. And that's where I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it now. I'm going to just start playing around with foods. I have a background of like cooking, and I like love like experimenting with recipes. And my mom's taught me like all the amazing recipes. So big shout out to her. But you know, I really just wanted to experiment. And that's when I started like dressing up cheeseburgers and like having curry khichdi and like, you know, like the basic Indian foods. And I could calculate the macros, I could calculate the nutritional value from it.
Yeah.
And that's why my page grew. And then my friend said to me, she was like, you know, your page is really good. You need to make it public. And I was like, I don't know if I can do that because I'm a bit of an introvert. So I'm like, I'm putting myself online here.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah. And she was like, you know what, it's fine, just do it and see where it takes you. So I put it on public and loads of people started asking for meal plans. And I was like, I don't know whether I'm like certified enough to do this. And that's what pushed me to get my level 3. And I was like, you know what? If I just get my level 3, whoever asks me, I can help them and support them. So I did my level 3 at the early part of this year.
That's
and I'm qualified now.
Congratulations.
It's been a journey.
Yeah.
And I'm at the point now where I've got clients and I'm helping women. And it's so rewarding to see people change their mindset and see people say, I didn't realise that you could eat butter chicken without the butter. You know, and they're like, oh, I've made the swaps and my husband doesn't even realise.
Oh, yeah.
But, you know, like stuff like that. And it's like, yes, we're finally breaking through. So hopefully, like going forward, like my main aim is just to educate more people, get it out there more and be like, you know what, it's okay. You can eat your Indian foods.
Yeah.
Portion control,
Definitely.
like measure your food out.
Yeah.
Cook it properly. Don't over fry and you're fine. So yeah, that's my journey so far. I've got a long way to go.
No, it's amazing what you've achieved and it's so inspiring because I think I started following you like when you were private and I remember looking at like your highlights that you would do when you would weigh yourself every day and it was just like really nice to see another Asian woman like into all of this and doing all of this and documenting it and I really loved your content. So it was so nice to watch you grow.
I mean you've been there from like quite early on, so you've seen that journey as well.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, how about you? Like, where did it all start for you?
So I think for me, as a kid, like in school and stuff, I hated PE. I was never like an active girl. I remember looking like at all the GCSE like PE girls and thinking, wow, like I wish I could be like that. But I hated running. I hated anything. Even like when I went to uni, I would literally get an Uber everywhere. I would never walk anywhere. And I wasn't ever overweight. Like I think I could just get by. Like I just ate what I wanted when I wanted and it was fine. And then I think as soon as you hit 25, that second puberty happens and you can't do that anymore. And then I think I graduated, I was at home and then COVID hit and I had nothing to do. And then everyone was doing those, I don't know if you remember Chloe Ting.
Okay.
It's a YouTuber and she would do these like YouTube workouts. Okay. So it was very like on TikTok.
I think mine was Grow with Joe.
Yeah, similar to that. Yeah. So it was like get lean in 10 minutes, like do these 30-minute workouts, blah, blah, blah. So I started doing that and then kind of looking at what I was eating and foods. And obviously you could only go for walks and stuff. So I'd go for walks with my parents, like to pass the time. And then I think I just got more and more into it. So I started losing weight as like a byproduct of doing that. And then I enjoyed kind of that side of everything. So I thought to myself, okay, with me, I always like to do things properly. So if I'm going to put my all into it, I was like, let me get a coach who knows what they're doing and they can tell me what to do. So I got an online coach. I think it was Georgie Gyms at that time. And she was amazing. She taught me like calorie counting and macros and strength training and all this stuff. And before that, like I was watching what I ate, but I had no idea. Like I would... You know those rye vita, like crack bread things? I would literally have that. And like, you know, a whole avocado. Right. Like a whole avocado.
Honestly, the whole avocado business, like I measure it now and it's 30 grams. And I think, how did I eat a whole one before?
I ate a whole one thinking I'm so healthy, I'm going to lose weight. Little did I know that whole avocado is what, like 500 calories? And so she taught me like to weigh my foods, to track it in my fitness pal, to see what I'm eating. It doesn't matter if you're eating healthy, it literally matters how much you're eating. Like you could be eating 100 avocados a day, but if that's more than you burn, you will gain weight. Game over. So that's what actually a lot of my clients come to me like, I eat healthy, why don't I lose weight? And I'm like, it's how much you're eating. But anyway, so I started doing that. I did really well with her. I think I got to my goal weight, which was like 58 kilos. And then I kind of got a bit big-headed and then I thought, okay, I don't need her anymore. Let me just stop. So I stopped with her. I stopped tracking. I stopped doing everything and the weight all came back. And obviously I didn't build enough knowledge and stuff on how to maintain my weight loss. So I was literally back to square one. And then this was around 2021, end of 2021. And then I got into running a lot, thinking that would help me lose weight. I was just all over the place. I was one of those people that would go on Instagram and see someone do something and think, I want to look like that, I'll do that. And it doesn't work like that. So I would run, I would switch up my diet all the time. I started trying to track again. And then I actually got into a really unhealthy relationship with food. So I was either tracking all in or binging and doing all out. I'm not tracking today, so I'll eat everything inside, feel so sick, and then literally get to a point where you feel so horrible about yourself, and then you think, it's okay, I'll start again tomorrow. And I was stuck in that cycle again and again and again. I didn't know anything about reverse dieting then. I didn't know how to maintain the weight loss. I didn't know. I was just literally stuck. And then I got engaged and I was getting married, and then this was a point where I thought, okay, I want to look my best. So I started to find another coach and think, okay, I need another coach. So then I joined Empower. I think her name's Emma Fit. And again, these coaches are great, but they're not South Asian. They're not cultured. They didn't know what I ate. They didn't know how to like incorporate like dal or biryani, like stuff that my mum makes. I couldn't do that. But I was getting married, so I wanted to give it my all. So again, I started again, did really well with it. And then it got to my wedding time, and again I had just got to that stage where I've lost the weight and I got married, so I didn't have time to like do that. I went on my honeymoon. After you get married, having your own house, it's just crazy.
Honestly, sometimes you look at the portion that your husband eats and you think, oh yeah, it's fine. But you can't compete. Like, it's just not the same.
So got married, obviously stopped the gym, stopped tracking again, didn't reverse diet, so my metabolism was all over the place. Started eating similar to my husband, getting takeouts, loving life. They call it that relationship weight or married weight or something. Basically, just living life. And obviously, I moved from Gloucester to Leicester. Gloucester, there's nowhere to eat. Leicester, there's so many places. So I was spoilt for choice, eating whatever and whenever. And then I was working at the same time, struggling with balancing, coming home, cooking, cleaning, because I had never done that before. Like my mum, bless her, she did everything for me. So I was in for a shock. And again, I was stuck in that same place where I was running, I was doing this, doing that, changing it all the time, crying to my husband, saying that I'm so unhappy with how I look. And he's like, but you don't even look bad. But in my head, I did.
Exactly.
Even though I wasn't obese or overweight, I knew I had gained probably like a stone, and I just wasn't comfortable in my body. And it's that culture, I think, that you grew up with as well. Like my mum, she was so into like diets and Weight Watchers and Slimming World and this and that, and that's all she knows. She doesn't know any different, and that generation is just like that. And that's what I was used to. So it's like that constant pressure of like looking a certain way and then still enjoying time with my husband and eating as well. So it was really difficult. And then I think last year, August time, it got to a point where I did a race with my sister for Palestine. We did a 10K race on New Year's Day. So I was training for that. But because I was just running loads, I wasn't looking at my diet. Again, I would gain weight. So I think I was around 67 kilos. And then I thought, no, I want to do it properly again. And I had researched the whole reverse dieting stuff. So I was like, I think this is my answer. I think this is going to be what helps me finally maintain the weight loss that I've always wanted to do. So I found a coach. She's amazing. Shout out to her. Her name's Holly. She literally guided me through my fat loss phase. So I think I started on 67, got to around 60 end of December time, January. Since then, we've been building my calories up and reverse dieting. And now I'm eating 2,400 calories. I know, crazy.
That's a dream.
And maintaining 61 to 63 kilos. So you're never going to stay at 60. It will be a bit higher, but I'm nowhere near 67, which is what I was last year. And my whole body composition has changed with the muscle and the weight training. So I finally cracked the code. That's amazing. Then alongside all of that, I was doing my PT course. So I'm actually an optician as well. So I was working full-time, well, part-time, and then doing that at the same time. So it took me like 2 years on and off doing that. And then end of December last year, finally qualified, and then took the leap and decided to actually be an online coach, because the 2-3 online coaches I had changed my life.
Yeah.
And I wanted to change other people's lives. And since then, I've done 40 women, I think.
That's absolutely amazing. Like, honestly, when I see like your passion and your dedication and the amount that you've grown even since I followed you,
I know, it's crazy.
It's amazing.
But alhamdulillah, like, I'm so happy that I've like been able to have this voice and have this platform where I can encourage women that they don't need to starve themselves. They can eat what they want. They can fuel themselves properly. And you know, so many of them come to me and they're like, I feel so much more energized now. Like, I'm not ratty anymore. I'm not snapping at my kids, at my husband.
Oh, I remember the ratty stages. Honestly, I used to lie down on the floor and be like, I cannot move, because I tried all sorts of diets. So I don't know whether you've heard of the egg and grapefruit diet, which is basically like you eat boiled eggs and grapefruit for majority of the day. And I mean, I'm not advocating for this whatsoever, but you would drop a stone in a week.
Oh my God.
So
please don't do this.
Please do not do this, because it would, like, for the first 2 days you'd be like, I feel super energized, because you're basically releasing all the sort of like bad stuff from your body.
Fasting,
But then as the week goes, like, you feel so less in energy, and then as soon as you stop, that's it. The weight just literally comes back on, and it gets rid of your water weight essentially, which is great. But then what happens when you introduce the carbs back in?
You can't live off eggs and grapefruit for the rest of your life. So you just can't do anything that you can't sustain forever. There's no point doing it. Like, okay, if you want to crash diet for like a bodybuilding competition or something like that, like, it's not likely you're going to do that. And again, it probably destroyed your relationship with food, right?
Yeah, completely. And to the point where at the weekends I was like, I'm just going to binge. I just need all the energy back, and then I'll be back to the egg and grapefruit again on Monday. And I'm like, I can't live like this.
No, because you know, the more you tell yourself you can't have something, it's all that will play on your mind.
Exactly.
Like, literally, it's better to just have a little bit of it and then move on with your life.
And I feel like I've really like come so far from doing that now, is that I still enjoy my chocolate chips and my all of that,
so
like,
nice.
in my bowls.
When you get to that point.
Yeah, I know. And you can still do that. And now that I don't overly restrict over myself, I can have that chocolate when I want to, and I'll just balance it out with something else. And I think it's just getting rid of that all or nothing.
Yes.
Not saying I'm going to like eat all this and completely get rid of it tomorrow, because tomorrow you just want it again, and then you're in that cycle.
And that all or nothing approach is literally what makes women stuck, and that's what I try and tell my girls to stop doing. And they all have it in their head, like, it's so hard, because you just think that, okay, I'm going to eat everything because tomorrow I'm not going to have it. But in reality, when you're doing that, you're eating probably maybe 3,000-4,000 calories, and you're not realizing it. But over a week, you've cancelled out all your hard work of the week. And your deficit's gone out the window. So you're literally just stuck maintaining all the time. And then you're wondering, like, why am I not losing weight?
I've put in all this work Monday to Friday, but you've not mentioned that Saturday, you know?
Like, just because you don't track it, or you think in your head it didn't happen, you still had it. Like, you're only cheating yourself at the end of the day. So that's perfect.
Oh, but it's really nice to hear that, and I'm so glad we're doing this, because again, like, just educating people on this is gonna like literally open minds. Because I think when you talk about diet culture, and when you talk about like diet food, what do you normally think of? Like, because for me it's just rice, potato and veggies, chicken, just bland. And like, Indian food is so stigmatized because people are like, well, if you're on a diet you can't be eating that. And I think as long as you cook it with minimal oil, because and you can still use oils, just track it and make sure you're actually tracking it, because oils still have calories.
Like, and oil's the worst, because like the tiniest bit will have the most amount.
Like 10 ml, you're looking at 80 to 100, and if that's a portion between you and your husband, then you're looking at 50 just there. And for 50 calories,
and 10 ml is nothing.
Exactly. And you probably wouldn't even taste it in your food, right?
That's the thing. And you don't need that much oil nowadays. When you have those non-stick pans and stuff, you really don't need it. You've got spray oils, you've got so many alternatives out there, but it's just that traditional mindset that we've had, that, you know, you need the sunflower oil, you need all of this. Like, my grandma's probably the same, mother-in-law's the same, my mum's the same. Like, it's just like that, and we're trying to teach them and educate them that you just don't need it.
And like, I think with traditional Indian culture, like food is love language, right?
Yeah.
And so our grandmas and like who are our ancestors and whatever, they used to introduce foods that would keep people fat and healthy, because that was a notion
That was
before,
a
like
sign
there was
of, like,
healthy living, like rich living,
wealthy,
if you will, you know, and like. And as much as they were
skinny or
doing
poor.
exactly, and that's probably why they introduced these kind of foods, to keep you plump, keep you looking healthy. But as you like kind of move down the generations now, and as time goes on, there's so much more educational side of things that maybe we do need to move away a little bit from that. And I'm not saying what they're doing is wrong, because they came from a place of love.
Exactly. Yeah.
But now it's just flipping that mindset a little bit. That look. Alhamdulillah, we're in such a good place right now that we have the resources and we have the abilities to put healthy fats into our diets, whereas people in India probably didn't have all of that, and that's probably why they resorted to like the oils.
Because
and all
if you think in India, like, because obviously it's a poorer country, that's all they're eating. But here, you're eating that, and then you're ordering a chocolate berry waffle dessert. Like, they're not doing that in India. So
exactly,
that's the difference. Yeah. And also the health conditions.
Yeah.
So we're more prone to type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol. And the doctors will give you pills and pills, but do you want to be taking pills? Like, food is a form of medicine. Like, prevention is always better than cure. And until you get those diseases and you see your parents with those diseases, or your grandparents, and then you think, well, why are they all getting that?
Yeah. I've seen so many like my aunties and then my grandparents and stuff like that suffer with diabetes, and now they're going through the process of trying to reverse the diabetes, where they're going on shakes and they're going on completely like
all those
the opposite.
jobs,
And you do need to question, like, why are we in that position in the first place?
Yeah, exactly. So when people are so hard-headed and they don't want to change their habits, but then they get these problems, so then it's like, something's got to change. Like,
exactly.
if nothing ever changes, nothing will change. So it's just about educating them and showing them that there is alternatives, and these foods are great. Like, I eat them all the time. Like, in my weight loss journey, when you learn how to track it, when you learn how to understand what you're eating, like, you can definitely incorporate them, especially if you're making it yourself. It's so much easier.
Of course. Honestly, when I first started tracking and I started having my healthy meals, I got a comment once, because I took my pre-prepared meal to eat, and I'm not going to say who it was, but they're like, oh, enjoy your hospital food. And honestly, you've seen my pictures online, and I'm
your
like,
food is great.
Yeah, and it was a beautiful coloured like vegetable salad with some chicken and protein, and it looked amazing, and I was like, thank you very much.
But you know what? It's so sad when that happens, because if I did that, I probably would get comments too. Obviously, when I go to my mum's house, I just go and take it. It's fine. She doesn't really care. But like anywhere else, like, you would get comments like that. Or especially now that I do this whole gym stuff, or they see me eating like something like a waffle. Oh, should you be eating that? Oh, can you eat that? Like, you can eat that and still look great. These comments will always be there. Like, all the time.
And like at the wedding time, I obviously lost all the weight, and I was on maintenance now, and so I was sat enjoying my Matilda cake, because I was like, you know what, I'm going to enjoy this. And they looked at me and they were like, but you're meant to be the nutritionist, you're meant to be encouraging healthy eating habits. And I was like, this is a healthy eating habit. It's all about balance. It's all about, knowing tomorrow I'm going to be like back on it, and it's absolutely fine.
Yeah, 100%. And allowing yourself that little bit is going to be what stops that binging and that binge mentality, because it's so much better to do that than to go and eat it in secret, which is probably what I used to do.
Oh, don't. I mean, my husband used to find wrappers underneath sofas, and it was awful.
My heart goes out to you, because I experience the same, and it's horrible, because you're just stuck in that, like, almost like imposter syndrome, because you're supposed to be like this fitness person into that, and then it's like you can't even control yourself. And it's just, I think it's your brain, like, you've rewired your brain to think, okay, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling like crap, let me go get that chocolate, let me go eat that biscuit, let me go eat this thing, and have that quick dopamine hit. And then it makes you feel great in the time that you're doing it. And then like 10 minutes later, you're like, why did I just do that? And then it's just that cycle. And then so you have to, what I've found that helps me is to to replace that with something else. So when you're feeling like that, do something else. Like, have a herbal tea, ring your mum, ring your sister, ring a friend, journal, do something that interrupts that brain neural pathway kind of thing, and you will find yourself not having to do that. And the more you do that, the more you will train your brain, and you won't find that you need it.
That's a great way, because I think a lot of the time it's boredom as well. And
Yeah,
it's just
it
about
is.
your mind wandering in places that it doesn't need to be. And like for me, what's helped the most is just, like you said, the distraction tactic, or address the problem. So what I'll do, like for people who come up to me like, you know what, Sanaa, I'm really craving that sweet treat today. What do I have? And be like, go into the kitchen, get a small plate, and literally put a few pieces of whatever you're craving, but walk out that kitchen and do not go back in. So they've got the treat, they've addressed their needs, they've satisfied whatever it is they're craving, and they've ended that there.
That's perfect.
So that's one thing that I do. Again, like yogurt bowls, so always put your sweet treats in yogurt bowls, bulk up that meal, because a lot of the time,
the protein.
you'll feel full, you'll feel satisfied. And thirdly is distraction, in terms of go for a walk, clear your mind, move your body, because sometimes you can just feel like there's energy that you want to release, and it's not through like eating food. So go for not even for a run if you don't want to, but just clear your mind, go for a walk.
Actually, walking does really help, and you never regret like going for a walk,
and you'll feel so much better.
And also, if you're able to, just don't buy it. Don't have it in the house. Like if it's not
that is hard to say, because you know my husband, like, he's awful. Like you've seen my snack cupboard, you saw it, and my mother-in-law, she loves her snacks and chocolates, and so it's really hard not to buy it. And I think it's especially with my kids as well. You know, like
you don't want to deprive them.
I don't want them going to my mother-in-law's and be like getting all the chocolates and sweets, and then coming home and be like, oh mummy, we don't have any of this at home. So I'll always have a bit, and I'll always encourage healthy eating habits.
Just that moderation, just having it in moderation.
But they know like their snack plates will be fruit and a bit of chocolate and yogurt and stuff,
like a balance.
And they will normally 90% of the time reach for the fruit first and have their yogurt first really before they ask for the treat. So alhamdulillah, like really like healthy eating habits, hopefully they continue, but if not, then I'm here for them.
No, that's definitely good, because sugar is crazy. Like I see so many kids now having fizzy drinks, sweets, like all of that stuff, and I'm just like, what are you doing to your child's brain? Like just stop. Like it's awful, because they say that sugar is like ADHD in the brain, and it probably is. So much. Because when we were kids, we didn't get any of that. Like I don't remember eating.
I also think it's like the additives that are added to like foods and stuff nowadays, even like in junk food and stuff. Back in the days when we had stuff like that, we probably didn't have a lot of like chemicals and stuff in it, which was probably why we turned out okay. And now all of a sudden you get sugar-free this and like, you know, and you look at the products and it's just full of like crap. Preservatives and all that, and you're just like, I don't know whether that should be going through my body right now. But saying that, like some sugar-free alternatives I will promote. So like if you want a little sweetness in your tea, you've got the sugar-free alternatives, don't you? And the syrups and stuff like that. Every now and again it's fine, but then if you're having cans of Coke every single day, you just got to look at it and be like, look, do I want this in my body? And
I think it's going from like levels. So like if you're on that level where you're having full fat Coke, full fat, there's sugar in your tea, then the next level is changing it to Diet Coke, changing it to sweetener. And then once you've done that, then the next level is like weaning it to squash or water. Reducing your sweetness, because I used to have 3 sweeteners in my tea. It was so sweet. I can't believe my taste buds even like would have that. And I was like, no, this is awful for your gut health, awful for that. Like I want to start weaning down. So I did. Within a week, I have like no sugar now in my tea, and my taste buds have got used to it. And it's crazy how your taste buds adapt. And now when I have anything like sweet like that, I can really taste it.
Yeah, you can feel it on your teeth, can't you? Even the same with salt. So like a lot of my clients ask me like, how much salt are you okay with? And I just say, look, at the beginning, it's always good to like reboost your taste buds, because you're used to having that oil, those salts, those sugars. So for the first couple of weeks, try and get rid of it completely if you can, and then slowly introduce it back in at smaller levels. So then you don't feel like, oh my God, I've just literally like reduced it by this much, and I can really tell, because your taste buds will adjust to it. And then
you
even
just
that
have
little
to do
bit
that
of
initial
salt. And it's hard at the beginning for sure, because I remember going completely salt free for a while, and that food's bland. I'm not even gonna lie.
No, it's not nice. I think I was the opposite. Like my blood pressure's low, so I was trying to increase salt. But definitely for majority of South Asians, we need to reduce the salt.
I mean, the amount of food I taste that's like now anything like above the salt level is just like it's too much salt. I go to my mom's house and sometimes like, Mom, how much salt did you put in this? And she's like, it's only a little bit. But for me now it's too salty.
It tastes too salty.
Yeah.
Perfect. So should we wrap up today's episode?
I think we've covered a lot of topics.
We have.
And we've got so much more to do. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was lovely like talking about these topics. Maybe in the next conversations we can touch on some of the conversations we've had today.
Yeah, we can dive deeper and that would be really good. But no, I'm really excited for this podcast.
Yeah.
And thank you so much guys for listening and tune in for the next one.